Hi, I'm Jeff, and I'm a therapist.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm a patient.
We're going to talk about trauma, healing, and everything. Everything is traumatic.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess should we just jump into it, Jeff?
Let's just jump. I
Let's
think we
just
just
jump.
rip the band-aid off and jump
Just rip
in.
the band-aid off. So I mentioned to you that I've had kind of a weird week.
Yeah,
It just seemed very off. It's so I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be just completely honest and just admit that I've been kind of going through a breakup, and it's a really, to me it's like this weird minuscule thing, but it like has, like, as you mentioned, like a deeper meaning, like the symbolic thing where she unfriended me.
yeah.
And like on the one hand it is very insignificant, like, but it means something deeper, which is why it
There's a
hurts.
thing that I talk about when I do therapy with people or with friends is that feelings are not right or wrong. Feelings are feelings.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to want to say, oh, it's insignificant or it's not big or I shouldn't feel this way, but it feels big to you.
And um I do agree with that. Like feelings, like I love the phrase that feelings are real, they're not reality.
Hmm.
Where it's
Yeah.
like the feelings that you feel are 100% justified. Like there's nothing wrong with feelings.
Yes.
Um, but sometimes they don't. They're not the full reality of the situation, and a lot of the times you don't. For me, anyways, it feels like I don't know the full reality of any given situation. I don't know everyone's entire history. I mean, do any of us?
Hmm. Probably not.
Like we don't know the entire person's life of who they are, what they've done, and what they've lived in order to understand the complete full context of what is the reality. So I think that's why it's easy for us to get emotionally entangled with people.
Hmm. Yeah. That's a good point.
Um, but it's something that hadn't just made the week kind of off. Like it hasn't been bad, but it's been off. And I guess I'm just still I'm still grieving it.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking a little bit before. I mean, it's in just my experience, has been no pain as severe as relationship issues. Ending relationships or relationship issues to me have been some of the most painful things that I've ever had to experience.
Hmm.
It's just complicated.
It's a different. I guess it feels like a different pain because it's a different kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Like because we have, because you have friends and then you have like romantic partners, or you have people that you like, and I don't know, like, all the different relationships that you have, parents, grandparents, uncles, cousins.
Right.
You all, like, you have these labels and these different associations with people, and they all have like a different meaning behind their connection. So it's a different pain when you lose that.
And I've sort of felt like if somebody dies, it's generally not a choice. But if somebody leaves you, it's a choice to leave you. So if somebody dies, it's like something happened, an accident. Doesn't take away that it's painful,
Hmm.
but in a relationship ending, if you've been left or been, broken up with, they are choosing to move away from you. And so that makes it to me more exquisitely painful.
Yeah, because death is inevitable, but like ending like that is a choice. And I'm not saying it's like right or wrong, because there's the context is always important in those things. But I guess that's why it makes it a different, more personal
Mm,
kind of hurt. You know, Like death doesn't like play favorites necessarily, but this is like you fucking
Yeah,
you
yeah.
suck.
I'm leaving you because you're an ass face. I'm not sure those were the same words that you heard, but I've been called an ass
You
face
ass
many times.
face.
You dirty ass face.
Like a chief. Ass face in my office. You're done.
So how do you deal with how have you dealt with that this week in the sense of it's something you've noticed, it's caused you some pain, it's sort of put a dot all over the I, so to speak.
Mm.
How have you dealt with this feeling this week, this experience?
Well, I listened to a lot of podcasts and
Okay.
watched some video essays and just kind of taking it easy this week a little bit, or tried to,
Yeah.
anyways. Of
So
just like
occupied
relaxing.
yourself, sort of distracted yourself a little bit. Did some self-care by doing some things to help you keep your mind off of that.
Yeah, I say yeah, 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 kind of, yeah. I mean, like, I guess some of the stuff just kind of applies to like philosophy stuff that I've been feeling. Um, but for the most part, yeah, it hasn't been like about relationships necessarily, but like one of the ones I watched a video essay about 70s movies because we've talked about that so uh,
Mm,
frequently about
yeah.
like why they are the way they are, and they kind of have like it was a cool breakdown of like some of like the techniques and like the error of that decade. Um, but I also feel like I think the thing that really helps me out is like doing something creative, such as like writing or editing or painting or
Mm.
something creative and artistic. And like I did do some of that, but I also took a break from doing that because sometimes that gets feeling like there's pressure.
Mm.
Um when I'm just and that's why I think the thing that I really like is painting because there's no expectation whatsoever for it.
So you did a mixed media sort of cut magazine stuff. It looked like you had cut things out of magazines and pasted them to something
Mm.
that I thought was really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Um, and if we ever get a website, we'll definitely put some of your art up on it. I mean, just for people to see. But that was a really striking piece.
Oh yeah, that was just kind of like a collage piece that's coming up for an upcoming thing that I want to remain a little hush hush about.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
but it will be a part of something a little bigger than itself. But it was such a cool thing just to make that day.
Mm.
Um, but
And I think, if I am correct, there is a piece of that I gave you a long time ago.
yeah, the card with the elephant looking guy.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Which
It
is
can't.
sort of interesting. It's sort of that full circle of us doing this podcast that we've exchanged little goodies over the years, and sometimes those things reappear
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
I know. I still have like the little stack of Polaroids you gave me.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just bought some new Polaroid film that's I'm interested. It's recycled blue film. And so it's a blue tint, light blue tint, but it's supposed to do like the image is supposed to be a little clearer and stronger than some Polaroid,
Mm-hmm.
but it's made from recycled film. But yeah, I'm excited to try it out.
That sounds like I bet you're gonna get some really unique pictures out of that.
Yeah, I need to bring my camera over and take some shots of you. I think I have several Polaroids of you. Um, we've sort of changed keys here, talking about the 70s. Enter the enter the 70s. Down wacka down down.
Yeah, I got several Polaroids of you, Tyler.
I got some Polaroids. I'm actually looking at one right now.
I know I have the one that you gave me. I guess it was the one where I'm like looking on my phone. I think it was the day we were shooting.
Yeah, I have one of you in overalls from a shoot,
Oh yeah,
but
the
I don't know if I
stand.
gave you that one or not.
Mm-mm. Well, I can't remember.
It was when we were shooting the shed or something. It
The
was a
stand.
bing bang kind of piece, whatever.
It was
Something
the
Kevin was
stand.
shooting. Yeah, the stand. Yes, you were in
Yeah.
overalls.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah, that was an interesting day. There were chickens about, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, and like they'd all follow you if you were like chip 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 chip
Yeah,
chip. They'd all
yeah.
follow you. Yeah, that was yeah. What a fun day too, and so random. Like it was a cookout afterwards.
There was a cookout at Gerald at Joel's cooked for us. It was
Mm-hmm.
hot as
Shout
hell.
shout out to
We were,
to Gerald. He is a great
yeah,
barbecue cook.
yeah. It was so hot that day. Um, it was just uncomfortably hot. And yeah, I think the chickens killed one of the actors.
Hey, that wasn't confirmed nor denied.
Right. The
That,
lucky part was they also had pigs, so the
mm,
person was devoured very quickly,
that also wasn't
um,
confirmed nor denied.
except for the teeth, which I still have.
Not confirmed nor denied.
But yeah, we've taken a little humorous turn, but yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting how our equilibrium, our energy can be derailed or disturbed, our forward movement or our equilibrium can be sort of knocked off the track by something that might seem not so big,
Mm-hmm.
but the way it hits us, it does derail us
Mm-hmm.
and it makes us feel, a certain way, but it sort of knocks us off that path.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird how much it can just derail something and like take away the inspiration, the spark, but
Mm,
I also think there's like it's kind of hard for me to believe in what is called the inspiration, the spark, the muse when like there's like a clear I don't know. I don't want this to sound like pompous either.
yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
I watched an interesting video about it and it was called How an Artist Goes Pro. And like the professional doesn't let these insecurities stop the work. The work always
Mm,
has to be done because because it's a job. You are writing, you're shooting, or you're directing, or you're doing this, whatever thing you're doing, it is a job. You have to constantly do it if you want it to be a job.
gotcha.
And like that, and it's also like, it does a great job of breaking down the concept of like what's called the resistance, which kind of shows in a lot of forms. The main one being like procrastination, like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. Well, I'll do it the next day. I don't feel like doing it today. But there also needs to be that healthy balance of like, um, of um, of rest, of
Mm,
self care, of
yeah.
taking care of yourself.
There's a concept, a Freudian concept, a defense mechanism called sublimation.
Mm.
And it basically says nothing, most of the wonderful art things we've had in our lives and we see is caused by the sublimation of, we take energy that we may want to put one direction and put it a different direction.
Mm.
And so much of the great art stories, whatever, comes from a place of pain. And we just redirect that energy, the pain, the grief, the anger,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, towards something else and become creative. And so, um, yeah, it's a hard thing to do though, because to me, my energy just goes away when I'm sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I'm sad, I just kind of want to like go away for a while, like
Yeah.
just shut down, lights off, blinds down. It's completely dark.
Listen to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Listen to the
What I
wall.
do is I listen to the wall on a slower speed, so it's
Mm.
even longer.
God, Jeez. I do listen to like music is such a great thing to listen to when you're sad.
Mm. I think one of the things we in our society are really about trying to get rid of emotion, especially things we would consider negative emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd say sad or angry is a negative emotion, and we try to get rid of it when really it's okay for us to sort of soak in it a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and realize that that's the flip side of joy. That if we can't experience that sadness, anger, malaise, whatever it is, that we won't understand the other side either. And so we medicate it in some way. And sometimes we just need to soak in it a little bit. Not too much, but enough to be like, this is what it feels like to be alive.
Yeah, it's not the emotions that have it's not the emotions that are necessarily wrong. It's that the way that we feel them, how intensely we feel them, how we let them in a way consume us sometimes, which like again, there's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings, but it's good to have like emotional regulation
Yeah.
and to not attach to them.
It's very interesting because doctors many times, if you say, they'll say, how you doing? And you're like, I'm a little depressed. Oh, I've got a medicine that I can give you for that. They
Mm-hmm.
don't always check about why you're depressed. Well, I just lost my pet. I'm in a breakup. I've lost my job. You know, those are normal. We should feel sad when those things happen. And so I don't think we always remember there's depression that is needing medication to be treated, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
No problem with people taking that. But then there's moments that sometimes it's like important to get through and to be on the other side of.
I 100% agree. Like it very well seems like they don't want to actually help. They want to push a product. And I know
Yeah.
this is going to be conspiracy theory, or I don't know. This might sound annoying to some people, but fuck Big Farm.
They gotta put shoes on their babies.
Fuck them
They're
baby
not making much
shoes.
money. They're not making much money in the farm. The antidepressants, antipsychotics, anti-anxieties have helped so many people to have better lives.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one side of it. The
Mm-hmm.
other side is the rampant misuse and the pushing of certain types of drugs,
Like opioids.
even though they know these drugs are addictive or dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and just dumping them and then later saying, oh, we'll just pay the fines because we've made so much money that we can just pay whatever fines you have. We'll just pay the settlements.
I mean, it's
And
just
that's the cynical side of it, the dangerous side of it.
yeah, because they've gotten a whole generation of people hooked on opioids
Yep.
to where they're going out if they can't get the medication, they're going out to the street to get it by any other means, and even resorting to heroin. And
Yeah.
like the thing with like drug addicts is like they I don't know. I feel like it's a disease,
Yes. Definitely is a disease.
and I know some people are like it's a choice, but like it's it's a lot deeper than just being like, oh, I'm gonna do heroin.
There are choices involved in a drug use disorder,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a disease state that is a lot of people try heroin, a lot of people try opioids. Not everybody gets addicted. And so there is a brain chemistry disease state that where people become very addicted and they struggle and they
Mm-hmm.
can't get off of them. That's the difference. And so, um, yeah, and I think that speaking of, it's not a great deal if they have a drug. Let's say they create a drug that cures one dose, cures something. That's not a great deal for them. They need something that you got to take a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to cure disease
No.
because then they don't get to use the drug.
Well,
They don't get to sell you more drugs.
once the disease is gone, like I'm sure all the like before they cured like polio, I'm sure those people that were like the snake handling charm like elixir making people. I think you know what I'm talking about, but I'm terribly describing it. I'm sure they were all
No,
pissed.
I got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we were doing something here.
Dude, you fucking cured polio. What the hell?
And so the drug companies do this thing where they find new uses for drugs. And so they lose a patent after a certain amount of time, but not if they create a new use for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, this is for malaria, but it also cures the common cold or this. And so then they can charge the same amount because after a certain amount of time, the drugs become generic
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to compete with the other drug companies.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be cynical. I mean, it's a very flipped coin kind of thing, but there's a lot to I think be very cynical about pharma.
I
And
guess for me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff.
no, you're good.
I was just gonna say, like for me, I have more of a bias because I'm just kind of like I feel like I'm a end result of that system of having two parents who did have opioid problems and abused the prescriptions they got, and thus like I have a bias because like I saw the result of that.
And you should have a bias.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of people share that experience too of like their parents being like that.
Yeah.
And you know, all of this totally plays into the breakup because my main issue, not issue, but like it's like a core part of me is that I feel um defective
Mm,
and I am afraid of abandonment
mm.
are like my big two like schemas.
Yeah, and I think that's what drug use disorders do. They create they have multiple victims. The people that are using the drug are victims,
Mm-hmm.
but then the people around them that are affected by their use are also victimized.
Yep.
And so it creates all these problems down the line. And there are people that were high up in these companies that said, we know this shit is addictive
But fucking push it anyways.
and that's going to sell the drug. Yeah, it's going to sell the drug. They told doctors that this stuff was non addictive. They won't get addicted to this, all while they knew it was as addictive as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But what a way to sell a product, right? People are going to love it.
Yeah. Just kind of makes you think of like maybe capitalism isn't the best way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of seems like I don't know.
You know they don't have drug ads in most other countries. America has drug ads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not only are they I don't understand why we have drug ads because it's not like you should be like, "Oh, I might have diabetes. I need to get on diabetes medicine." But the side effects are horrific. And they usually involve diarrhea or constipation, sometimes a fungal infection of the taint, which has a fancy name, but that's actually one of them,
Mm-hmm.
or death.
Well, that's because we have kind of like I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but it's not like a universal healthcare system
Right, right. We have no regulation.
like most
Yeah,
countries have. Our
yeah,
our thing feels very like free market to where you're buying like this back alley fucking thing that's like, hey, you could do this, but the side effects might kill you.
yeah, yeah. The other thing I love is don't take this drug if you're allergic to this drug. It's like, how the fuck am I going to know if I'm allergic to it unless I take it? What? What? What's up?
How do you know you're allergic to it?
Yeah. We're gonna do a scratch test on my back of all the drugs out there and figure out what I'm allergic to.
Just roaming
It's just
all
like
kinds of
it's like a comedy sketch.
just
Um,
rubbing all kinds of drugs on your back. It's like, all right, that one didn't leave a rash.
I'm gonna have to take some drugs. I'm going to the drug house and I'm taking them all to see if I'm allergic.
Yes, one of every drug, please.
One of all of them, please. I need to check and see if I'm allergic before I start.
Well, I'm getting
I'll
new.
take one of each.
Can you? Kind of sounds like my mind went to like gentrifying drug use. And so it's just like I'm a first time like I'm getting into drug use. I'm just trying to find the best drug for me.
Yes, yes,
And treating like crack life the same that we treat like fucking van life people. We're just
yeah,
traveling around, setting up camp and smoking. But they do it all fancy, you know? Like it wouldn't be like a crack pipe and like the fucking lighter. They'd be like it'd be kind of like this rig system. I bet it'd be all gentrified. It'd be all fancy, you know,
yes.
like an artisanry fucking 8 ball.
Artillery, Starbucks, but for drugs.
Yeah, it's fucking high gravity heroin.
How would you like your opioid today, sir? Would you like cream?
Oh, do you have that in like an IPA?
The other thing that bothers me is they have the fancy name,
Mm.
the brand name, like Prozac,
Mm.
and then they have the drug name like fluoxetine. And it's like, why do they have to have two names? Why do we have to have like the catchy name and then the complicated scientific name? Why can't
Oh,
it just be one name?
there's got to be a reason behind that, like something about like the
I'm sure
chemical,
there is.
like chemical compounds or something. This would be a
Yeah.
great question for Ken, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Ken okay? We haven't
Yeah,
checked on
he's in
Ken today.
Florida.
Okay. All right.
He said he'll be back Monday.
All right. Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
We
No,
miss Ken when he's not here with us.
we have Miss Ken, and you know, I feel like this conversation has went all over the place, but I've also really liked that. But you said you had a Easter story that you'd like to
I
share.
do. I do because this is Easter season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess Easter season is about 3 days. But yeah, so when I was little, my father, great man,
Mm-hmm.
we would do the whole thing, like so we would put out carrots for the Easter bunny because, we put out cookies for Santa Claus, that kind of thing. So we would put out the carrots for the Easter bunny, sometimes some grass or whatever Easter we wanted the bunny to have. So one Easter morning, I think I was 7 or 8, maybe 10, maybe 10ish. We got up and we had put out the carrots and stuff, and so we opened the door to where the Easter baskets would normally be, and
Mm-hmm.
there was no Easter baskets. On the porch was a beheaded rabbit.
Whoa.
And my father looked at us and he said, "That's what you get for touching yourself." It
Damn.
stuck with me, but I never have forgot that lesson.
He just canceled fucking Easter over.
But I get what he was doing. He was trying to prove a point.
Point proven, but like overkill.
Maybe so. I've had nightmares since then, but well,
Yeah.
let's move on.
We'll move on. You know, but that does remind me of like when I feel like I don't have a similar story,
Yeah.
but it's only similar because of holidays. Um one year my dad decided to pay a friend of his to dress up like Santa and take pictures of him dropping off presents in our house.
Okay.
And we always had these photos like in the like family photo albums. They were like millions of them. That's an
Right.
exaggeration, but um, and whenever I got to school and stuff, and got like in third or fourth grade, and they were like, Santa's not real. Spoiler alert. And
Mm,
I was like,
mm,
yeah, huh? I have fucking pictures. And like getting like that broken to me, along with like the fact of like those pictures were staged, really did
yeah.
disillusion me for Christmas.
There is joy in holidays. There is joy in relationships, but there's also stress and pain. And holidays
Mm-hmm.
are a mix of those things, just like relationships are. There's good moments, and then there's bad moments. I was having a conversation the other day. My favorite holiday, I think, is Thanksgiving because you don't have to do gifts. You still got to deal with family,
Mm-hmm.
which can be bad, but you don't have to worry about, did I get the right gift? Do they like the gift kind of thing, which is the most stressful part about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving is just we get together and we eat. We probably hate each other afterwards because we are all politically different, but at least we get to eat and we don't have to worry about gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a more pleasant holiday to me.
See, I don't even know if I really like holidays. As cynical as that sounds. I do enjoy them, but I don't like them. I don't like them enough to have a favorite holiday. It used to be like I would be really excited for the holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to see family and stuff, and like I just feel more estranged with my dad, at least, because the last time I saw him for Christmas, like his he was like, "Oh, it looks like you gained some weight," and it's like, what?
Well, that's a nice comment. thanks for thanks for starting it with that.
Yeah, like what? So it's not, yeah, it's not fun anymore.
Holidays are such constructs too. It's we are told what they should be. We are told what we should feel,
Mm-hmm.
especially Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
There's this workup of months of what you should feel with joy and how happy you should be, and all these perfect Christmases we see on TV, and this, even if it's a rough Christmas, there's this love and wonderfulness. That's just not really life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like that, but most of the time it's just sort of blah.
Yeah, it's never like, I don't know, families are just a bunch of strangers that happen to be fucking connected by blood, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds overtly cynical.
Someday some of these sayings are going to be on bumper stickers.
You think so?
I'm not sure which one, but some of them are going to be on bumper stickers, and they'll be trademarked to us
You
because we are
think-
obviously saying them on this podcast.
Oh, these are catchphrases.
These are our catchphrases. They're
Such.
sort of complicated and a little confusing and hard to say, but
And
it's
here,
interesting. Speaking of this is probably going to alienate half our audience. Uh, at the plant sale, there was a car that had a bumper sticker that said Trump was right. And I'm just like, that's a little bit vague.
right about what?
Maybe, I'm sure he was right about something, but what do
What?
you mean he was right?
Maybe it's more like because he was a Republican, he's like Trump was right.
There you
Maybe
go.
they're saying that Trump's gone soft.
I heard that he was sort of soft. That's what Stormy Daniels said.
Boosh. That's a good
Ooh,
one.
that's a bad joke.
No, that was great. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Um,
It's so interesting that these things we talk about, and it seems sort of random, but these are the kind of, just like when you pull out your whatever you look at the news on, if you look at the news, there's just so much crazy random shit happening.
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, okay, we got this over here and we got this over here, and all of a sudden they're shooting missiles into Israel again, and Israel's shooting many more missiles back. It's just like, okay, I thought we were coming down a little bit, but apparently not.
No, it's inevitable. We're all just doing like the whole world powers. It just seems like they're doing this massive fucking edging competition.
To destruction.
Yeah, that's what war
I,
is.
I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus more on the balls this time, and we're gonna really get him going.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
almost gonna.
we're
Ooh, I'll strike my I'll
no,
strike my
don't.
missile. I'll strike my missile. Oh, you gonna strike your
Yeah,
missile? Oh, fuck yeah, strike your missile. Oh, I got so
when it
many
comes down to
missiles.
it, it really does seem a lot of cock measuring going on amongst a
So
lot of people.
so have you ever watched Doctor Strangelove?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
One of my favorite, the best war movie in my opinion. Just because of like he uses that imagery so well because it's so true. It's a fucking dick measuring contest. That's what war
Yes,
is.
yes, yeah,
That's what all this is. Vladimir Putin is fucking edging. The leader of China is edging. We're kind of
yep.
edging, but we're also kind of going limp, but we're kind of edging too.
I put my money on Russia to win because they got Steven Seagal on their side now.
Mm, mm,
And no, Dennis Rodman is North Korea. I'm sorry. They got Steven Seagal, and I've seen him knock people down with his mind. I think we're already not the top. Um, we're not the bottom, but for a while we were like we could just do any kind of shit we wanted to,
mm-hmm,
and just we were in control. If America does it, and now we're just like our roads are falling apart. We don't have health care. Our infant mortality rate is like super high for a developed country.
mm-hmm,
But we got all these people like, God damn it, America's the best, and it's like, no, no, we're not. We haven't been for a while. So we could focus on fixing some of this shit,
mm-hmm.
or we could just say we're the best. You better not mess with the flag.
Don't mess with the flag.
Don't mess with our beer.
It's just
And
kind
don't
of
mess with the flag.
don't turn the beer gay.
Yeah.
And
I did
it's
drink a beer once and it almost turned me gay.
oh no shit.
Yeah. So that shit's real, man.
Just be careful.
Be careful.
Um, you know, I think this is a perfect point to maybe end off the episode. What do you think,
Close off.
Jeff? Close off?
Let's end with some positivity because we've talked about some deep
This has
stuff.
been a very I feel do you think this has been a negative episode?
I don't feel like it's been negative. I think we're venting a little bit.
Yeah, I
We're
think
talking about just some things that bother us.
and I mean that's there's nothing wrong with venting.
Mm-mm. I do think that at the core, that if you get people talking, some of these things sort of fade away. It's very easy to talk about how you're going to pour out your beer because it's gay now. But if you have two people talking in a bar with a nondescript, non-gay beer, a Swiss beer, maybe,
They both look at each other
I,
and they're like, "Is that Bud Light?" Say, "Hell no, it's PBR."
I think we have more in common than we don't have in common. But it's very easy to scream about the things we don't have in common when we're not talking. So what we're doing is talking, and we encourage others to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got. I don't have anything better than that.
No, I
Talk to
mean,
people.
I think that's how you heal,
Yes,
just by talking.
definitely.
And from all of us here at Everything is Traumatic, family are just strangers who are connected to us because we share the same blood. I'm Tyler.
Look. I'm Jeff. Look for that on t-shirts and
And bumper
koozies
stickers.
soon.
That's the catchphrase. That's our catchphrase.
We're gonna ride that home.
That's our new slogan. Family is just strangers that are connected because they share the same blood. Good night and play us out.